start the recording with your eyes just, here we go, The Last of Us, it's time!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the, episode number 3? Episode 3 of The Clickercast. And I am joined, as always, by ArtyTheGamer and Ballistic Gaming. Man, we've got a lot to talk about in this episode, guys. Oh, man, I'm ready to get into it. But first and foremost, obviously, spoilers ahead if you have not seen The Last of Us episode 2. Yeah. We're episode 3. We're talking about episode 2. Follow along. It'll make sense, I promise. So, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen episode 2. Stop this. Go watch it. Come on back, because we'll be here. Spotify, Apple, Google, you know the deals. Also everywhere. On all 3 of our YouTube pages.
Yep.
So, but first and foremost, if you're not already, please make sure that you go follow my co-hosts here at
Ballistic _gaming _ on Twitch.
And ArtyTheGamer on everything.
Fantastic. And you already know EROETTV on just about everything. But we've got a lot to get going. So, let's get into it.
Let's do this.
First and foremost, I want to just state, because I don't know if this was like common knowledge, Neil Druckmann directed this episode.
Yes.
Yep.
And let me just say, as his TV debut, like directorial debut, phenomenal job.
Oh.
And I feel like there was a lot of the small decisions that were made only because it was Druckmann behind the camera.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little callbacks once again, and the view scene was shot for fucking shot from the game.
Yes, it was. It was great.
I was blown away.
That was great.
Yeah, that was really good.
Give that man his own HBO original series. It could be literally about anything. I'm there. At episode 1.
100%.
So the episode started, and it started in Indonesia, which I was very taken back by. I was like, wait a minute, are we getting backstory about something here? I don't know why the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, are we getting somebody's backstory? And I'm like, who the hell is going to be in Indonesia? This fucking story takes place in Boston.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, it's about the fucking virus.
Yep.
What an idea, first and foremost, to just, because they didn't ever really give us, I said it last episode, I'll probably say it multiple times, they didn't ever give us backstory about the virus in the game. They told us how it spreads, they told us what to not do, and all that, but, it was just kind of there one day, right?
Yeah.
And in the show, it starts in Indonesia, allegedly. That's how it, at least, it seems.
Yep.
And apparently the only way to fix it, the lady said it herself, is to bomb the city and everybody in it.
Yep.
Yeah. That final line just of, what can we do? And all the old lady says is bomb the city and everybody in it.
I'm talking about that scene, I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
Because, that line, I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I got cats fucking around in the background.
It adds character, don't worry.
Right? And, the tentacle, they're not tentacles, the vines, I guess?
They're, mycelia is what they're called.
Yeah, that. The vines that she takes out of the body's mouth, I guess.
Yeah, that.
Interesting little touches about the virus that we, of course, are adding to make it more, I guess, believable in the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
are really sinking down to make this like holy shit. Like yeah, this like it makes sense. Like I'd believe that if like I fucked with something over here, that all of a sudden I've got 3,000 undead dickheads coming at me and they're gonna try to kill me.
Yeah.
All because I messed with this little tentacle. Like it's crazy. But I mean, thoughts about the opening, because like it's like I said, man, chills.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was good. It definitely felt more like a show in that moment than anything else, and I was like, I am painfully aware that I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like it was interesting. Could they have done it differently? Yeah, sure. But I was like, yep, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like as immersive as it was in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, because the entire like intro to the first episode was just the way it was because it was the game. But this one was like like that second cold opening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Introducing the virus, giving us a little more backstory on it. I did enjoy it. I don't know if you guys noticed though when she pulled the mycelia out of the mouth that they were still moving.
Oh yeah.
Did you catch that?
Oh yeah.
That no. But overall, I enjoyed it overall.
So obviously, go listen to the HBO official what do they call it? Companion podcast.
Yes.
Also starring Neil Druckmann, Craig Mazin, and it's hosted by Craig Mazin, and it's hosted by Troy Baker, the original voice of Joel.
The one and only.
They said in the new episode, because I actually listened to it today, they actually said they had an alternate idea on how they wanted to start up this episode, but they didn't have the funding. What they wanted to do was they wanted to do a big compilation scene of different cities all around the world as the virus hit.
Yep, I remember them saying that.
Yep.
And first of all, that I'm in, but like, damn, I wish we could have got that.
Yeah, I think that would have been a lot. That would have been a lot better opening because it's giving you, instead of that like singular point of it's affecting like what we're used to it affecting, it's now showing what countries got totally annihilated, what cities were totally and 100% annihilated by this thing.
Yeah,
that would have been really cool, especially if like going to like if you went to like the tropical area, did this like fully take over tropical areas because they're so much warmer and a lot more moisture. Like that would have been really cool to see.
Yeah, something like the forest out of like the Predator or something, and you just see it just completely just overtaken by the fungus, and
that would have been really neat to see. Yeah,
all the clickers running around, and like, oh my god. So we move forward from Indonesia going into the actual episode, and probably the only scene of Ellie that is going to make her look the most innocent little thing on the planet, when we pan in and she's sleeping in like the one little patch of moss, and the sun's hitting her perfectly, and she's just curled up into a little ball, and then she wakes up, looks over, and then there's fucking Joel with an M4 pointed at her head.
Yep.
And it's like, okay. And then of course Joel's still freaking out about the bite and everything. Like, I knew that Pedro, I swear, I'm gonna say it 100 times during this entire thing, that I knew that Pedro was a good choice, but he reassures me every fucking episode, man.
Yep.
Like, like the way he just, I don't know what it is. It's like the way he just acts, like his emotions that he has and everything else about it. Like he's fucking perfect. Like he is Joel.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
like,
for sure.
like if you just slap Troy Baker's voice on top of Pedro Pascal, like boom. But even at that point, he still does a decent part at the he still does a decent part at the voice by itself as well.
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But we revealed what the mission of the episode is, that we're taking her to the Firefly camp out west, which for us that have played the game, we knew what was happening in this episode. Which
I think it said last episode was this episode was going to depict the pacing of the show, and Yeah, that was kind of spot on to what I was thinking was going to happen.
Yeah,
like pacing wise.
Yeah, definitely. Which I will say, the funniest part about watching this show with my wife is that my wife knows about the game. Obviously, I've played it, a half a dozen times.
Yeah.
And obviously, she's never played it herself. But she knows about the game, and she knows details about the story. But then there's stuff like she doesn't know what happened to Tess, and I'm like, oh dear. So I get to watch her expression when the rest of the episode plays through, and it's awesome to me. And I know that y'all watch the show together.
Yes.
With your wife, correct, Ballistic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously, your wife is also a streamer? ?
Yeah, she's trying to get affiliated still.
So, did she ever play the games?
Nope, she's only watched me play them.
So she knows the story, but it's kind of like the same deal.
Yep, knows the story. A little bit more in depth because just the way I am and how I explain everything.
Yeah.
But it's still the same concept because you could tell our reactions are different from hers because we're noticing certain things. So it's really interesting, to see the kind of this the difference between it, like how we are reacting because we're seeing specific things. We know kind of what they're changing, what they're adding. Yep. But for us, it was as soon as we saw the museum, we knew what the pacing was. We knew exactly what was happening right there and then.
Yep,
so,
yep. Well, that was actually where I was going next. Was the museum. Okay. And then we kind of got the the explanation there about the tentacle. Like I keep wanting to call them tentacles because they look like fucking tentacles.
They do.
The tentacles that come off of the cordyceps and they're on the ground and everything, and Joel hits it and it's it's bone dry, Yeah. I gotta say as well, this episode I felt paid a lot of attention to detail.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was just purely because Druckmann was directing it. I mean, the entire show has been beautifully shot. I don't know what they're shooting it with, by the way. But holy shit, I haven't watched a show that's looked this good on this TV.
Yeah.
We've got one of those stupid, 4K, ultra high, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Omega televisions from Samsung.
Same fucking here.
Yeah, and it's Endgame looked great.
Mm-hmm.
The Walking Dead did not. But then I'm watching this, and I'm like, holy shit.
It's popping.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. You got the buildings, all up next to each other, and, you can see shit falling, and,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, good. Yep.
But we go inside of the museum, and we get that first body. Because, we're trying to be tactical, we're trying to be, quiet and all this nonsense and and everything.
I know me.
Hi, buddy. I can't do anything without you, huh?
Nope. He adds flavor to the episode.
Viewers and well, I guess just viewers because listeners can't see him. But say hi to Nobi. But so we're in the museum and we find that first body with what looks to be bites, and he just looks like he got the shit kicked out of him by something. And again, those who play the game, we knew what was coming, but not everyone else did. And I gotta get into it. The clickers, man.
Oh,
dude, so good.
So good.
So good.
When I first saw it, I wasn't entirely sure if it was practical or CGI. Cause sometimes you just get shit that looks that good. Yep. That you're just not sure. I'm sorry, I know he's fucking fake, but Thanos looks real. But I know he's CGI. But these are it's hard. It was hard to tell, and I found out of course by listening to the companion podcast that they were indeed practical, which I'm sorry blew my mind. Because I not that I would have been completely against it, but I completely expected them to take the CGI route for the clickers. Because, I'm sorry, in this universe that we've all come to be accustomed to, there are only so many things that you can afford to go, I don't want to say fuck up on, but to not get completely accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clickers are one of those things that you cannot fuck up.
Yes.
Yep.
They are the thing of the game.
Yeah.
Like, and that's bloaters and shamblers aside. Clickers are what you see more than anything else, like with the runners.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I was just blown away. And I actually like they showed a little bit of the process on the like what do they call it? The behind the scenes after the show thing. They showed like a little bit of that process, but like I want to know specifics because I'm a nerd for this shit. I want to know how long someone sat in that chair and had like little bits and pieces like stuck to them. I want to know.
I think with general just FX makeup, honestly, with that extent of makeup, I would guarantee it took no less than 6 hours. Easily, 100, like easily.
Yeah, I
because
guess
that's a lot of prosthetics going on. And that's coming from my personal experience with putting prosthetics on myself. So
I was gonna say, yeah, I guess you would know a little bit about that, wouldn't you? Considering that you've done some, like a little bit of that, yeah. I obviously don't know your extensive background in that, obviously.
Yeah,
but...
I wear a full face prosthetic. So
okay, shit. But not only do we get one clicker, we get two.
Yeah.
And like the noises were great. They looked fantastic. It was fucking terrifying to watch. And just that entire scene that goes down, and it's just beautifully shot. It's suspenseful. Like I was on the edge of my seat fucking the entire time, even though I already know what was going to happen. I'm here. I'm still here for it. And I will say it felt like it took a fucking lot to kill that clicker.
Yeah.
Because in the game,
2 headshots.
Yeah, like boom, boom, or like, you know, a pipe, or the bat, or like a brick, whatever. It didn't take much. Like it did if there was a lot of them, but like usually it, you know, didn't take much. It felt like they really like tried to make it seem that these things were, I don't want to say unbeatable, but
you want to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, okay, let's just go against it. The hell with it.
Yeah, like
they made it to where a lot more practical to where, and I think what they did very well with this entire scene was the fear.
100%.
Of realizing that clickers were there. You saw the fear, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
They like missed all their shots too, but you know, that's okay.
Yeah, well, man.
Well, everyone's got stormtrooper aim in the moment apparently. So
yes, but God, and then some. It was awful. I was like, dude, he's like 2 feet in front of you. How do you miss that?
Right. I also really enjoyed, because I thought about this after the fact, with Joel's whole like telling Ellie they can't see but they can hear, and he mouths it to her, and I was like. I was like, oh my God, that's a very good thing to like point out, not only for like the show wise, but in general for viewers who don't know the game.
Yep.
Because I don't know how many, obviously, but like I'm sure there's a large amount of people watching the show that have never even touched the games, that are probably going to now after experiencing the show. And it's like, well, yeah. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they just be able to come up to you, rip you apart? Because they can't fucking see, man.
Yep, they can't see you, and that's why they click. For those of you who never have any experience with this game, that's why they click. They use a form of echolocation to find you, which is beautifully done again in the scene because they're avoiding stepping on things. That's something you do in the game. You could just run walk around. You gotta walk a little quietly, but you could still walk around.
Yep.
It doesn't matter like the outside quote unquote noise. You could load your weapon, whatever, and be fine. They did it very well again, and especially when Joel's reloading his revolver. It took a lot of time. He did it quietly.
Yep.
And that pan over when you, Jesus,
and
God,
then it's right there, like, bruh.
It's there.
Yep.
Yeah, because then that was when we had our first actual close up, and like you could see the love, dedication, work, blood, sweat, and tears that they put into this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say I don't want to say costume, but pretty much a costume.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
I was kind of telling Ballistic about this actually a little bit. How they're probably gonna do like actual prosthetics on the close-up shots and then CGI the ones in the background.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because the close-up you got from episode 1 was that was obviously 100% CGI, and Artie made a great point to where they're going to do the CGI for the distance shots to where, because that's the cheapest route to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they don't need to get every detail perfect.
Yep.
That's a lot of things that people don't realize with CGI. Things are like the nomenclature of like the detail are kind of missed because obviously it's computerized.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much detail you can put in, there's always going to be something off. But if you do something practical, like the amount of detail that's there is insane.
Yeah, definitely.
God damn.
I loved every minute of it.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
But that entire thing happens. That entire, the fight between the two clickers, Joel, Tess, and Ellie.
Yep.
And we reach the climax of that, and we're still in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie's been bit. Now, granted, it's more of just like a nibble.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like, and once again, Joel freaking out about this other bite.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie seems completely fine. Now, granted, at this point, we've already established the fact that Ellie's been bit prior. It's been, what did she say, like 8 weeks since the first initial bite or something to that extent?
3, I thought.
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
It's been 3 weeks, yes.
Okay. And it's basically just a big fucking scar. That's all it is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then we move forward. And there, I don't remember now. I'm backtracking myself because I'm trying to think. Was the shot on the bridge before or after the museum?
Like where she's walking across the plank?
Yeah, we're no. Where they're all on the bridge and they're talking about all like the. I guess it was before.
That was before. That was when they were where they wanted to take a different route, like a longer route, and that's when you get the information on how these things actually interact and work, that they all work in unison, that the whole system is connected. That's when you figure that out, is actually during that scene right there.
So my bad. I have notes, but apparently I'm fucking that up. But no, so to backtrack a little bit, because that bridge scene was monumental for the formation and structure of the show.
Yes.
Because explaining how the infected work with the tentacles, I'm gonna keep calling tentacles, with the fucking tentacles that go underneath the ground and like all the different forms of the infection, and then you have the scene of all of the runners on the ground with the sunlight hitting them, and like,
God, that was crazy.
Like a horde that
unison.
size, man. Like, I gotta get your thoughts on. First of all, the bridge scene in general, and then, of course, all those fucking runners.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So coming up to that scene, you get a little bit more of the insight with, like, kind of the questions that, they're asking a little bit. You kind of get a little bit more back with Ellie, but leading up to, like, when they're looking over that pan, and you see all them down there laying down. They're not standing. They're laying on the ground, and you're trying to figure out why are these guys laying. Why are they laying on the ground like that? Why aren't they standing up and moving? And then you see them like a wave almost move as a wave all the way down in unison, and then they give you the explanation that they're all connected. You step on something, and that's when they explain. You step on a fungi, or a cordyceps here, a mile away, 12 of them know exactly where you're at, and they're going to come to you. That was phenomenal to get that explanation. And I mentioned it to Artie, after the episode. I'm like, if they incorporated that ever in the game, I would have quit playing the fucking game.
God damn, dude.
That would have added a whole new level, having to watch where you step, like as you're going, like there's a patch of fungus right there and you're trying to run and you hit that and all of a sudden 100 motherfuckers are coming to you. Done. Game's going away. Bye. Not playing it.
I'm returning this. Thank you.
I want my money back. Give me my 5 cents.
It almost would have brought in like a Days Gone perspective, especially with like the hordes from Days Gone. But
except that game was trash. But
the game was trash, sadly enough. But Arty?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it's crucial information to have, and I'm glad that they explained it the way that they did. But I mean, like, just looking over that bridge view and just seeing them all there, it was like a, what the hell is that kind of feeling? Be like, is that what I think it is? And sure enough, it is.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's insane.
And the fact that they explained it to where like this connection is now underground. Fucking
it is crazy.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're explaining it as the actual, like, how mushrooms are in real life. That's exactly how they are in real life.
It's the way that they hit the ground and just immediately start growing up onto their fingers and locking them into place. That
and then like they're going underneath the nails and man. Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
No.
Fuck that.
So then we fast forward past the museum, and we get probably my favorite moment of the episode, where they're on the rooftop. Tess seems to have like sprained her ankle or something. Of course, once again, to those who play the game,
you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Minor details with sprained ankle,
Yeah,
right.
But we get the scene from the game, literally ripped from the fucking game, of just look at that view, and like it's shot for shot, man. I was so happy.
Line for line too.
I was so happy. Like shit like that just makes me happy, man. And like, they don't have to do it. They don't. Like the show could be a completely different entity from the game. Like it could. Like just based in premise of the idea of the game. Yeah. But like they gotta go above and beyond and like just knock the shit out of the park 2 weeks in a row. Like if they keep this progress, this is like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I've heard from a little bit of reviews, like minor tangent, from reviews that episode 3 next that's coming out is critic rated the best episode of the entire series.
Oh god, I got goosebumps when you said that.
Well, we get Bill next episode. Bill and Frank. Yep.
But going to the scene that you were talking about with the bridge, I like the little touch of them playing the theme song when Ellie and Joel are talking.
Yep.
And I listened to the podcast just like you, and they kind of explained it to where they added that. I think they mentioned it in the podcast, so I heard it somewhere, that they added that to kind of signify like there's that little connection starting.
Yeah.
As they're standing there, you kind of see them kind of connecting.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit, but that touch was amazing when they added the theme song as they're looking over the city.
Arty, thoughts on that one?
I mean, it was really good in general. Like, I don't have much more to contribute than that.
Yeah.
It was just like, say, Mr. Big Words over here. But I mean, like, it was really, really interesting. I think it was really well done. I would say, like, line for line, scene for scene, it's just amazing how they're putting it all together. And they're still making it a little more original than the game. But yet they still have those huge incorporations of like the scenery, the words. It's all
the difference I think they added was the urgency of Tess kind of rushing them off to say, let's go now, let's go.
Yep.
So
I thought that was a nice touch.
Nearing the end of the episode, which so they changed it slightly. I say slightly, it was actually a decently sized change, but
oh yeah,
we're near the Capitol building, and we see the truck outside, and of course we're back in tactical mode, trying to sneak up to the building and get everything ready for that. In the game, Fedra is actually the reason why we have to retreat into the Capitol building, and everything that then proceeds to happen, and there we go. This time around, though, we enter in the building, and we already see all the bloodshed from the Firefly militia, I guess.
I think so,
yeah.
They're all dead. And we find out it's because one of them turned, and it was, not sick versus sick, and nobody won.
Yep.
And then that's when it happens. That's when we have the big reveal that Tess was infected.
Yes.
Yep.
She got bit back against the clickers, and that's when also we have the realization that Ellie's immunity, there it is a real thing.
Yep.
Comparing, Tess's neck to Ellie's arm, and Tess's neck is practically purple.
Yeah.
While Ellie's arm looks to be just perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
that's why
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's why I think it was a good touch to have Ellie get bit.
Yeah.
I think that was actually a really good touch to kind of further explain and get more into Joel believing. And it kind of I think they did a better way of explaining it in the show than they did in the game. With the comparison, I think that was a lot better touch.
Yeah, I would definitely agree there. But then we have the realization that the tentacles are going into the dead that are there, and then you start seeing the horde from earlier get up and start wind sprinting, bro. And you realize where they're heading.
Yep.
I think I'm just gonna finish the scene and then just overall thoughts, because I don't want to stop in the middle of it, because it's the entire scene just is one big fucking thing.
Yeah.
Tess and Joel have their little argument, and Tess isn't going with them. So she starts knocking over gas barrels, and she's preparing to pretty much turn the Capitol building into a giant napalm.
Yep.
Joel takes Ellie, gets the hell out of Dodge after a very emotional confrontation between the three of them. And this one was weird for me, because the infected start entering into the Capitol building, and you've got the gasoline, the grenades all on the floor. Tess is fucking with the Zippo, and then you have the one infected stop.
Yep. That was weird.
And I'm like, okay, what is this guy doing now? And he walks up to Tess, and I have it written down as the infected made out with Tess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so after the episode, I was talking to my wife, and I was trying to make sense of this scene, because in my head, I'm sorry, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I kind of rethought about it a little bit, and I kind of just summed it up to the cordyceps takes over the brain, right?
Yes.
So, and I kind of put it up to walker terms from The Walking Dead, because you'd have the walkers, and they would it almost seemed like they would remember aspects of the person's life before they were dead. And it kind of seemed like the cordyceps kind of doing the similar thing, but it's much more of a primal instinct of you're infected, let me help you, join us, or something to that extent. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. I didn't like it.
No, it's gross.
I don't like that it's all transferred in the mouth.
Oh.
Oh, it's so awful.
Oh man. It's gonna haunt me, man. Like,
yeah, that scene was fucked.
Yeah.
Yep. But we only get to see it for a couple seconds before Tess finally gets the lighter, throws it on the floor, and you see Joel and Ellie outside, and the Capitol building blows up. I had to like process everything so much after that because I was like, that was a lot that just happened.
Yeah.
And then of course that's pretty much the end of the episode. Because it just kind of pans on to Ellie and Joel, and it's like, holy shit, that just happened, and then credits. So I know I just threw a lot at you, but everything going from Tess revealing that she's infected to the little triangle argument we had, all the way up until the weird makeout scene, and then napalm death. Enlighten me, please.
I feel like that was one of Ellie's first feelings of genuine guilt. Because I think she feels responsible for Tess being bit and Tess dying. So I feel like that's going to be a big thing for her as they continue to go on, which when she's with Joel, things like that, because she's going to be like, that's my fault. I killed her. And I don't think she's going to know how to properly handle that.
Yeah, there's a lot to unravel with that scene. There's so much.
A lot.
My biggest thing was because the infected that you saw previously in the episode weren't doing anything. And then you had the one infected that was still alive, I guess, or just turned and came back, and then Joel shot it. Then you see the hand go down. Then as the hand goes down, you see the mycelia coming up, and then it cuts away to mycelia going into the fingers of one of those, and then, as you said, they fucking wind sprinted over there. I liked how they incorporated the game line with Tess. You know, when she shows them, oops, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're supposed to run out of luck at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that a lot that they added that. Yeah, the stopping of that one infected. Like it's almost like they knew she was already infected. That's the thing. But they added something in the podcast when they kind of explained it just a little bit, that if you resist is when you get torn apart. And if you notice, Tess didn't resist.
No. She
embraced it. She already knew she was done. It's like she knew that if she resisted, she would have just got tore apart or what have you. And again, no, didn't like that at all.
It was weird, man. It was weird.
And they explained like why they did it though. They backlit it. They explained like they backlit it like a fucking makeout scene. And that's a word like how they described it.
Yep.
And then again, you cut out to after everything explodes, and you see the look Joel gives Ellie as she's just standing there. He walks off, she stays still. And you can see that he blames her. You see it in his face that he is blaming Ellie for the one person that he has cared about since his daughter died is now dead.
Yeah.
So,
which is
beautifully done though. Beautifully written.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is what Tess was trying to beat into Joel's head before everything transpired. Of her basically, you know, this is fucking real, Joel, because like he needs to care about this because it is real. He needs to care about this like he cared about Sarah, like he cared about Tess, and how he needs to care about this entire scenario in order to move forward and, you know, get this done. But man, another beautiful job done by HBO, by Druckmann, Mazin, the entire crew. It's got the Eroe seal of approval. 10 out of 10 on both episodes so far. I've enjoyed the hell out of this fucking show. But I'd be remiss to talk about this episode and not bring up Piano Frog.
Piano Frog.
So unbelievably random, but like
Star of the episode.
Yeah. Which also go over to Druckmann's Twitter, listeners and viewers, and check out. There was apparently supposed to be this whole thing where this seagull was supposed to eat the frog, but the seagull was having no part of it. So you just have some guy's hands holding the seagull, and he just looks like he's just looking to the side, like what is happening. It's hysterical. Also, that entire scene with them in the water, that was ripped out of the game as well, and like another phenomenal job there.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know, man. But with that said, I actually want to start doing a new thing. I want to start giving every episode a rating.
Okay.
So all in all, episode 2 on the Arty scale and the Ballistic scale, where would you put it?
I'm gonna say it 8.5 because the beginning really threw it off for me. Like it feels like they're putting, like, I know they're trying to do detail for like the viewers at home, but it also just feels like they're trying to buy time.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that part just kind of threw it off for me because I'm like, yeah, okay, we know it started from the flower. We know we got a name of the place where it all started.
Yeah.
So we already kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
It just felt like they were trying to buy time.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because the infected scene didn't much make sense to me. Even after I was listening to the podcast and it just still didn't make sense of why they had to do it like that. 9 out of 10 just for that. But everything else, I mean, phenomenally written, phenomenally done, phenomenally shot.
Yep.
That was the only disagreement I had, was like how they did it. I mean, I understand, but just didn't make sense to me.
It was weird. Like, I don't know.
It was weird.
It was fucking weird, man. I don't know. Hitting
it's
it on
weird
the
that
head.
it had to be such like an intimate moment.
Yeah.
Like that, it's not an intimate thing. Like you are dying. So why had to be like this graceful thing where like it's just going into her mouth and like taking over her? I have no idea.
Yeah.
That was just weird and random.
But moving forward, we got at the end of the episode, and we had already spoke about it earlier a little bit. Episode 3, Bill and Frank.
Yes.
And we're getting like big time backstory with Bill and Frank.
Yes.
What are your thoughts for that, first and foremost? And secondly, do you guys think that we're gonna see a bloater in the next episode?
I hope so.
I hope we do. I'm not sure because they show it in the previews, but how far are they going and where's that at?
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you're with Bill in the game, you see a bloater in the high school that you're at.
Yep.
Yeah, the gym.
But it seems like the scene that they're showing, it almost seems like that's going to be the intro to the bloater. Just the way it's kind of being shot and how it's coming up. That almost seems like that's going to be your introduction to the bloater. So I don't know. My thoughts on next episode. I hope. I'm glad we're getting more of a backstory with Frank because we didn't get that in the game. Because as you said last episode, that he was just, a Hawaiian shirt over a goddamn skeleton. That's all he was.
Yeah.
So
I'm
looking
to see
forward
if
to
they're gonna make like all the bomb traps that he had in the game. That they're gonna have to navigate through and avoid. Because that was kind of like a big thing for Bill, was like protecting himself.
Yeah, all of his traps. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm really curious to see if they're gonna do like something like that, exactly that, or how they're gonna play it out.
I do hope they give us the scene to where he handcuffs Ellie like that. I hope we have that entire scene.
That was in the preview, was it not?
Not that part. I don't remember seeing that part.
I don't know for sure if it was or not.
I feel like I remember seeing that.
I hope we get that though, to the T.
Yeah.
Because that just shows you like that back and forth banter, and I hope we fucking get that. I hope we do.
The funniest part you bringing that up was I just saw on TikTok last night the mocap recording of that scene with Ashley Johnson, Troy Baker, and whoever the hell voiced.
Yeah, I don't know who voiced them.
Yeah, it's fine. I just saw that entire scene last night on TikTok. I thought
that's great.
It's ironic. So I think I know how they're going to do the next episode, and I might be wrong, but I have a hunch.
Okay.
What I think they're going to do is they're going to start off the show with the big backstory between Frank and Bill. It's going to, roll the introduction, and we're going to get all this big backstory between the two of them, and then obviously Joel's there at some point during that backstory too. And then it's going to, that's going to be the first half of the episode. Second half of the episode is going to be the three, Joel, Ellie, and Bill. Mm-hmm. Them meeting with Bill, that whole scene with the, her or him, handcuffing her, and then, we need this battery, you need a car, blah, blah, blah. I think the episode's going to end in the gym, final scene before credits roll, the bloater. And then credits roll, episode 4 starts off with the bloater. Boom, okay. Into the action. I don't know why. I'm really getting a hunch that's how they're going to do this.
I feel like they might end with the bloater scene. They'll just finish it and then exit the high school and keep going.
I don't know, coming out of the hole or something. Yeah,
I don't think they're going to stop it at a peak action point.
Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, well, why didn't you do the fight?
Right.
Whatever. They're going to make us wait for that, and it's going to be a big complaint topic.
Well, it just, my thing is that in the game, that boss fight with the bloater, that was a bitch of a boss fight.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, you had to learn how the fucking bloater fought and everything, and, of course he's going to kill you because that gas sucks. Also, I'm curious on how they're going to do the bloater in the show. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm on to something with it, but again, I could be completely wrong. But if they do the fight with the bloater in the same episode as meeting Bill, getting the backstory with Bill and Frank, all this, all that, Ellie meeting Bill, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be mashing a bunch of shit into one episode.
Yeah.
I think we will.
But at this point, you kind of have to, because you got a lot of story left to tell in 7 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's an hour and 20 minutes long, so it's another premiered episode.
Oh, okay. I think I may have forgot about that.
Yeah, it's an hour 20, I think, from what I saw.
Okay.
So you're going to get a lot, and I think you are right, and I hope they do it that way. I hope they don't make it to where Frank is still alive through the whole thing. I hope they don't, because that wouldn't make sense to anyone who's played the game. That would make zero sense.
Right. I don't think we have to worry about that. But I get where you're worrying about it, because from a TV aspect, it's they would do that.
It's just it would ruin the whole dynamic of that entire Bill interaction on why he is now the way he is.
Yeah.
But
with him and Frank separated.
But with Druckmann behind the camera, granted, I don't know if he's directing this next episode.
He's not directing the next episode.
But with him still behind the camera as an executive producer and everything else, I don't think we have to worry about major changes like that.
Right. I would hope not. I honestly, I'm going towards they won't do it, but I'm I'm still I hope
never
they
know.
don't.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna just probably get more minute changes, kind of instead of us fighting Fedra at the Capitol building, it's a hive of infected, and that's how Tess dies, by sacrificing herself to take out, however many fucking infected were in that, that tribe, that horde, whatever you want to call it. But
it made more sense to kind of do that in the show to end it with infected, because you kind of left Fedra in the dust.
I agree.
And how would they follow you, and why would they risk that for 3 people?
Yeah,
I agree.
So.
I also forgot to mention this as well. I apologize. Arty, you shared that picture in the chat that we have about Ellie's mother.
Yes.
About that potentially was going to be DLC for the game at some point. Do y'all think that's next episode? Do you think that's going to be the cold open for the next episode? Is going to be Anne, Ellie's mother?
That's really hard to say.
Because like
I have no idea.
Because if you throw that on top of everything else we're going to be dealing with in this next episode, it's going to be fucking action packed. And
would it make sense?
I don't
That's
think
my
they
thing.
would
Would it make sense with the whole episode?
Well, in every episode so far, we've had a cold open that, like, granted, it is about the show, but at the same point is disconnected in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you had the first episode with the doctors back in, like, when was it, the 1970s? They were talking about fungal virus could be a real thing one day and it will take us out. And then in this episode, obviously the Indonesia thing. I have a feeling we're going to get that every single episode.
Yep.
I think this episode, the cold open, will be between Bill and Frank.
That's where I'm at too. I think
the mother part doesn't make sense with what we know with this episode. It doesn't make sense.
That it would be like a cold open for like an episode with backstory with like Ellie and Riley, as opposed to like something with like Bill and Frank. Because like if they're considering like
good.
DLC, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, the Left Behind. And be like,
So,
oh yeah.
All right, so here's my theory then on that, since you just said that with Riley. I think they're going to have an entire episode as a flashback when Joel is injured, kind of how we had it in the game, and that's when they introduce Ellie's mother.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
That will be my theory if they do that. They'll have an entire flashback episode of when... So kind of like how we're going through, like when she gets finally captured by Frank, and now she's going through that whole sequence.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of time after Joel gets injured, and then we go into winter.
Yep.
Where like there's a lot of time there, and like granted a lot happens, but not a lot of story happens there.
Yeah.
I like that.
I hope that's what I think they might do. That placement of that would make more sense there.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting like Ellie's story.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
How she got infected. So again, that would just make more sense.
And a lot of time in the winter is like fighting people, which they're seeming to kind of like get away from. In
a little bit.
So like you're not fighting like David's people in that time.
Well, I think that's what they're waiting for. I think we're not gonna really fight a whole lot of people until we get to David, because
I just don't know how they're gonna pull that off, though.
But yeah, because if they don't go that route, then how are you going to get Joel's injury? Because the whole reason why Joel got injured is because of the hunters.
I mean, true.
That is true.
And then we find out, obviously, later on, spoiler if you haven't played the fucking game, is that those hunters were part of Dave's crew.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know, man.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
So how would they do that if you're going off the game premise of, like, because that's the whole reason why he gets injured. He gets pushed off that balcony.
Yep.
And then lands on that piece of rebar.
Up near his, you know.
Fucks him up. Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad. I don't know, but I gotta be honest as well. I'm nervous for that David scene, man, because I think they're gonna really amp that up, and I think it's gonna be hard to watch.
Oh yeah.
And just the way it was in the game. If they go anywhere near that, this Ellie like. Yeah, that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, and as fucked up as it is to hear me say it, I'm fucking excited for it. Because
it's gonna be one of those like
that was a
tense
pivotal moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I feel like it's gonna be like one of those like tense gripping things, like the beginning was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all this shit just goes to chaos, like that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like I'm looking forward to it, but that was a very pivotal moment for Ellie. That kind of gives you.
Yep.
How Ellie is in the second game, ruthless but that was like her first brutal kill, if you like, and it changes her because you get the whole quietness after the fact when Joel and Ellie meet up, and like again we'll talk about that later on, but that's a very pivotal moment. They got to do that. That one is going to be like make or break. That's going to be another make or break scene for the show.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All of that just got me thinking about another thing. I'm ask this, and then we need to wrap up. So let's say that this show ends with them at the fucking hospital. The whole game basically in one season. All right.
I think that's how they're pacing it.
We get at the very end, we get a teaser for season 2. Abby, the whole 9 yards. I don't know off the top of my head how many years are between 1 and 2. Is it just 4 years? Okay. Do they recast Ellie as an older girl or keep Bella Ramsey?
Ooh.
Because will they go Game of Thrones with it as a full recast?
That's I don't know why that just popped in my head because like granted Bella Ramsey is like she's like what 19?
19, so she could play Ellie.
She could, but she looks young. Like
that could be makeup too, making her look a little younger.
Special effects that can fix that.
That's also very true. But I don't know. Do they recast her or do they just say, nah, Bella Ramsey's Ellie?
Not.
I don't think they will. Bella Ramsey is Ellie. And Ashley Johnson has said that herself, that Bella Ramsey is Ellie.
Yeah.
So I don't think they will because again, she is for the second game, Bella Ramsey is around the same age as Ellie is then. So
I'm wondering actually because they talked about having Caitlin Denver as Ellie. So like if they do something like that, would they cast Caitlin Denver since she looks older and she's a bit taller, things like that? She fits the part more of an older Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that could be the case if they end up doing a recast.
And
yeah, maybe.
Also, to kind of spin off of that as well, I just thought about this. Stephen Yeun as Jesse.
Oh.
Glenn.
Oh, dude.
Glenn from The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Oh,
that would be interesting if they did that. Yeah.
Right? Because like you'd almost have like that mixture of the two worlds combined.
Which that would be so cool. I wasn't even thinking about him.
Dude, like I hate this. My mind always does this because like I'm involved into season 1, but then immediately I'm thinking like, okay, what about season 2? Like, what's gonna happen next? Like, are we gonna get this? Are we gonna get that?
Yeah, I'm just doing the same thing with House of Dragon right now.
Yeah,
all that.
Well, what I'm thinking about what happens after they finish the second game. Like, are they gonna do the full season 2 as The Last of Us 2? Are they gonna break that up into 2 seasons?
They have to break that up.
I can see them breaking that up into 2 seasons because the game itself could be 2 games.
See, but I'm wondering if they're gonna like split an episode like half and half, like half Ellie one day, half Abby, and like the same day, as you do like a side by side story kind of thing, and that way they do fit it into one game. And then I'm wondering what they're gonna do after they finish the story of Abby and Ellie, since there are rumors that they're working on The Last of Us Part 3.
So here's a thought. I don't know if it's gonna go over well. I think that you could take The Last of Us Part 2 and split that shit up into 3 different seasons. Really milk the shit out of it because season 1 of Part 2, which I guess would be season 2 of The Last of Us, that's Ellie, right? That's her entire arc. Season 3, that's entire Abby's arc. And then in season 4, you know, you get your big like finale season, and it's the big fucking well, it's the end of the game that I don't want to say for Arty's sake.
See, what I could see happening is like they do like a season 2 as the 4 years between the game, and they try to like condense that into a season, and then they would do like an Ellie and an Abby season maybe. But I think if they milked it for 3 seasons, they're gonna lose their viewership. Because at that point, it's gonna feel like The Walking Dead, where there's milking it and milking it and milking it, and then it's not interesting anymore.
Yeah,
because it's just the same kind of concept every time.
Yeah, I agree with that one because you kind of like, because like in the game to do day 1, day 2, day 3, they could kind of do like you're saying this back where they could do episode splits.
Yep,
I do like
one
that
episode. Like so, day 1 episode Ellie, then next episode is Abby, day 1, so on and so forth down that line.
Yeah.
And then and obviously at some point they merge, whatever have you, because there's a lot to unpack for the second game. There's so much like inside of that game.
Well,
Lev, Yara, fucking everything.
Oh my god, because like you gotta completely pick apart the entire crew that's with Ellie and Joel. You gotta take apart the entire crew that's with Abby. You gotta completely you gotta pick apart the aspect of spoilers that Ellie and Joel rather killed Ellie's dad or Abby's dad. Fuck.
Abby's dad, yeah.
And there is a lot to pick apart in that second game. It is much longer and much more in depth.
Yep.
But also it's way more brutal too.
Scars.
Oh my god, man. So I don't know. But see, I also hate to be like this. We also don't know for sure if we're getting a season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this could just end.
It could.
Yeah. This could just...
The viewership that they're getting, though...
I don't think it will.
Highly doubt they're going to cancel after one season.
I agree.
We're making money.
People to HBO Max. People have signed up just for this show.
Yeah.
They're getting their money's worth. They're getting the viewership. They're getting the traction that they want to get.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they call it after 9 episodes.
Yeah.
No chance.
I would definitely agree with that as well. But okay, I can't help but to ask this. I know I said we're going to wrap up. We are going to wrap up, I promise. This is just going to be the longer one. This is the uncut episode. The Last of Us Part 3. Arty, you didn't even finish Part 2.
No, I'm close.
So I don't want to say anything what happens at the end of the game, but
I don't know what route they're taking.
Cause what would you do?
I don't know what they would do though. I have a general gist of what happens, but I don't know how they would.
So from what I heard, rumor wise, when it comes to The Last of Us Part 3, is that they have a legitimate writing room, an actual writing room for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Rumored, it's from a pretty credible source too. But so they have 3 or more writers for this game. So they got something planned. I don't know what, because of how they ended it. I don't know. I don't know what route they will go.
I will say, this is just my personal thing. I loved The Last of Us Part 2. I was not crazy about the ending.
Nope.
Again, I'm not going to say anything because Artie hasn't finished it. But it just the ending left something to be, I don't know,
desired.
Yeah, man. Cause you had, again, I'm not gonna get into it, but that's my only thing.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with that.
Artie finished the game.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/ArtyTheGamer. Go fucking watch her stream The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, dude. That PC cannot handle all that.
You have a PS5, right? Have you played The Last of Us since they remastered it for the 5?
No.
Yes.
Dude, is it
I own it. But
amazing.
I haven't played it.
Yeah, obviously it's the same fucking game, right? But it's all updated graphics and shit.
Updated graphics. They have kind of switched up some things scenery wise. They've added scenes, scenery. It's so fucking amazing. God
damn it, man. That
ray tracing.
That game alone makes me want to get a PS5. But there's no other point behind it. Anyway. I get on a tangent here about a PS5 when we're talking about the Last of Us TV show on HBO Max. Go subscribe today. HBO, that's a free one. Next one will cost you. Anyway, hey, yeah. And fucking the flip phone's right here, baby. Our viewers saw that, not the listeners. Yep, there we go. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I know this one ran a little long. Apologies. Not sorry. We just love this fucking show. We love this game. We love this universe, and we love everything about it. Neil Druckmann, Craig Mazin, everyone involved, y'all are fucking killing it. Keep it up. That's from me, and I'm sure my co-hosts here.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I'm so pumped for this.
So
pumped.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the ClickerCast. Once again, I do enjoy saying it. The ClickerCast. It is a lot.
It rolls off the tongue.
It is a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot. You know, that's an Arty original, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for that. But as I said at the beginning, I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it again every single fucking time. If you are not already, make sure you go follow my beautiful co-hosts at
Ballistic _gaming _ on Twitch.
And ArtyTheGamer on everything.
Thank you both so much for joining me again. I do appreciate the both of you so very much.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, man.
Always.
And thank you for listening and watching. And remember, follow the light. I don't remember the saying. Is it follow the light?
When you're lost in the dark, follow the light.
Boom! We'll see you next week for episode 3. Have a good night.